as soon as you buy your evaluation, you need to start off extremely conservative. You also need to be building the buffer in the evaluation, and then you can push out into passing. And then you take that same mindset once you pass into the funded account, just like you said, Michael, where you build your buffer first, and then you can push out parabolically or more aggressively. And it's the same thing with the withdrawals. So if your account's at 30 grand, you take out 20,000 in withdrawals, you net 20K, and you're left with 5. Well, at $0, you're terminated. So once again, it's extremely important to build that buffer again, because otherwise you'll find yourself in the trap that I found myself, where hyper aggressive, but I'm blowing out accounts, or I'm getting a withdrawal, and then as soon as I get my withdrawal, I don't have enough buffer and I'm still too aggressive. So although I got my withdrawal, I blow up my account, and then I got to restart the process.
Welcome everybody to another Funded Trader of Trader Pool. Today with me is Arbnor. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. So Arbnor has been with us for like a year and a half, right from the get-go of Trader Pool, maybe just a tiny bit after that. So for those of you listening right now, and you maybe just started to trade or you got into the evaluation process, listen super carefully to what Arbnor is going to share with you today, because he knows all the ins and outs of Trader Pool since he's been with us and saw all the progression. And also in regarding to his trading, definitely this guy knows what he's talking about. So we'll see some trades and of course go through the dashboards and everything. So Arbnor, how you sum up everything, the last year and a half that you've been with us, evaluation phase, funded, the payouts, all of that?
It's been good, man. It's been really good. I think I said this last time and I'll say it again. The opportunity that you guys have been able to give us is pretty dramatic, especially when it comes to being able to make the mistakes and start another evaluation rather than putting a lot of money into an account, blowing it out, and then having to raise that capital again and then trying again, right? It's just, it allows so much more room to learn and make mistakes. And for me, it's been a godsend.
Amazing. I mean, you've been trading for a while now together with us, and before that as well. We already did one interview a while back.
Yeah.
And do you see a change in your strategy, in the way you approach the market after you've been with us for that long?
Yeah. I'm just a lot more patient. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm a lot more patient. I'm a lot more experienced. I definitely have a lot more screen time. I just fundamentally, I just know what I'm doing a lot more than, when we first started. I was still very fresh and I still have a lot to learn, but I feel like I'm really, grabbing the steering wheel and I'm able to like make moves.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been watching your trades from time to time, and we'll get to a few of those and the stuff that you did today, so the guys will understand how it works and all the behind the scene, I guess. And also just the fact that when someone is trading on someone else's capital, right, with enough capital, then the game will actually shift toward your favor and not the opposite, like you trading, a broker account, right?
Yeah, definitely true. And it helps with like the sort of like the mental barriers of when you have your own personal account. Hey, I might lose this money. At the end of the day, this isn't my money. It is a Trade the Pool account. So for me, it just kind of helped with some of those barriers that I was facing when I was trading my personal account. And that's not to say that personal accounts are bad. I think for some people it works, but for me, I like Trade the Pool. I like trading here.
Nice, thanks. But did you last like a week or so, you got your payouts, right?
My most recent payout was, I think, last week, a few days ago. I think, what was it, like 15,000? I think it was for 15,000. I ended up netting 12, so that was good.
Yeah,
that was my most recent one, and I plan on getting another one here in about 2 weeks. So let's see.
I can see that. I mean, your account is already again in a nice profit. Let me share the screen for a second, and I'll show the guys just the process. And again, I've been with us for a while, so we already did a few evaluation attempts, failed some of them, passed some
Yeah.
of them, got funded, got payouts and all of that. So this is the last one basically that you traded, the ultimate buying power. For those of you not familiar with the whole process in the program, you basically start on an evaluation account, on a demo account with X amount of buying power. That specifically, the ultimate buying power is 260,000. And you need to reach a certain goal, a profit, without crossing the boundaries of the risk. So you have max loss and daily loss, and you just need to reach that target. So he did that perfectly. You can see the chart, the whole process going down a little bit, then climbing pretty nicely. The stats are also very impressive, 59% of success rate, 1-to-2 ratio, 2.2. That's a very nice one. And like always, you like to short them, right? So,
Yeah. I'm primarily shorting.
yeah, definitely those penny stocks, like a lot of our traders. And this is basically your funded account, the current funded account. So again, even with 260, obviously in this case, you don't have a target besides the target that will grow your account. So once you reach that target, we actually give you more leverage, more buying power, and more risk tolerance. And that was a bit more choppy, right? So interesting to understand, I guess the mental side of trading the evaluation comparing to the funded phase.
Right. The summer has also been very, 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 very choppy.
Yeah.
It's getting nice right now. I'm looking forward to a lot of plays, September, October, November, December. But this summer was a little choppy, and you can kind of see it in the chart as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And numbers 1 to 1.5 and 43%. So that's also very interesting. I've been going I'm watching a lot of the accounts, of the evaluation accounts and the funded accounts, and you can easily see a little bit of a change between the evaluation that you feel more comfortable doing. But once you go to the funded, right? Because that's the money time. So it's kind of harder, I guess, but you're still doing it amazingly. Let's talk a little bit about the trades that you made today. I see a nice trade on SMX and BLMZ. You want to take the chart and show us?
Yeah. So BLMZ, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Are you able to see my mouse?
Yeah.
BLMZ, I took a short pre-market around 1,500 shares at around 331, which is around up here. I covered it at VWAP right before the open. I was expecting it to break through that high, and I wanted another reshort around the 380s or $4. It didn't do that. It got stuffed, and then it really just never gave me a great opportunity to get back in. I wanted kind of near the highs. I was hoping it'd give more of a bounce, but it didn't. I didn't chase it. I just let it do its thing, let it fade, and I turned my attention to SMX, which is right here. This as well, I wanted to push at the open towards the 530s, 550s, risking right above pre-market high, maybe 601. I was going to give myself a bit of a wide risk. I didn't get it. It was super heavy. Couldn't break VWAP right here. So I took a position, and then we got a flush, and then I started to cover right here. I figured this was going to fade all day, but because of where my account's at after the withdrawal, after my withdrawals, I like to be a little bit more conservative and take my profits and build my buffer. And then once I push above 10K, 15K, I start to get a lot more aggressive. I start to hold longer. That way I can kind of build a buffer from zero, and I don't blow out my account. And then so that all in all, I think was 1,500 in profits. I think, and that was probably before 9:30 in the morning. So I'm up 1,500 realized, and then I took another position on BLMZ up here. So I let it do its thing, let it run, gave me a bit of a bounce. I got in at around 270s. I wanted 270s, 280s, got a little impatient, but that's okay. So I'm short right now on it, realized $90. I'm expecting a breakdown of this low of day 251, and I want to see what it does at the previous close around 230. If it can get there and break, I could see a halt down. I could see further fade. I'm definitely going to take some off around the test. I might take some off at this 251 break, just depending on how how aggressive it is, but that's really it. That's really
That's
it.
so. First of all, you said a few things that are super important. First of all, let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about this buffer because as a trader, and I see it also. I just spoke with Michael Tarantula, also one of our funded for a long time, and also he just took a payout of $20,000 in the last 3 months or so, and he said the same thing. The same concept of creating that buffer, building that buffer, so you can give yourself enough space to be aggressive. So
Right.
once you close to that 0 point, you will take it super slow and build that account. But once you get to that place where you feel more comfortable, the 10K, the 15K, you can easily become more aggressive. And when you're more aggressive, you can obviously make more. So that's a great tip for all of you listening right now, either on the evaluation or the funded phase. Build that
Right.
buffer and then give yourself that extra aggressiveness, and not just try to swing for the fences at the first time. So build that, give yourself that space, and then become more aggressive. Can you
Right.
go back to the first trade or the second trade? The early
SMX.
one? Yeah,
Okay. Can I say something about the buffer real fast?
yeah,
So as soon as you're funded, really as soon as you buy your evaluation, okay, you start off at 0, and let's say with the 260K buying power, you have until negative, what is it, 6,000
yeah,
until it terminates. As soon as you buy your evaluation, you need to start off extremely conservative. You also need to be building the buffer in the evaluation, and then you can push out into passing. And then you take that same mindset once you pass into the funded account, just like you said, Michael, where you build your buffer first, and then you can push out parabolically or more aggressively. And it's the same thing with the withdrawals. So if your account's at 30 grand, you take out 25,000 in withdrawals, you net 20K, and you're left with 5. Well, at $0, you're terminated. So once again, it's extremely important to build that buffer again, because otherwise you'll find yourself in the trap that I found myself, where hyper aggressive, but I'm blowing out accounts, or I'm getting a withdrawal, and then as soon as I get my withdrawal, I don't have enough buffer and I'm still too aggressive. So although I got my withdrawal, I blow up my account, and then I got to restart the process. Yeah. But yeah, so let's go SMX. I wanted to really harp on that, man, because I had so many issues with when I first started. And I
yeah,
think people can save a lot of time and money. Um,
definitely.
you know.
Definitely. And what, looking at SMX,
Mhm.
what got you in the first place? Let's talk technical, let's talk trading. What got you in the first place to look at that specific asset? And then, the short position that you took there.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a gapper. So I played it as a gap and crap. This is something I play. It comes around a lot. You might get 3 or 4 a week, sometimes more. But the reason I played it the way I did was because of what happened yesterday. I think it was SMIX. I can't exactly remember the ticker, but everything pre-market yesterday gapped up and faded. So that showed me the theme for what today might hold. And when this gapped up, I couldn't really find any good news on it. So it told me that it might be gapped up on fluff. I thought about yesterday how everything faded. And then when this opened up and couldn't push, it was already looking very heavy pre-market and very weak pre-market. But when it opened up and couldn't push, to me, it became a short. Once again, I wanted it in the 530s, but it couldn't even do that. So, I sized down just a little bit. I took my short position and I played it as a gap and crap. And it can be kind of hard to explain, but a lot of this is just screen time,
Yeah.
just playing them. If, for example, if it had a super low float or super thin float, sub 1 mil, and it had great news and everyone was talking about it, I would be staying away from it. But
Mhm.
it had the inverse of that. I didn't see many people talking about it. I didn't really see any news. The volume wasn't really there. When it opened up, I didn't see a rush of volume. It kind of just remained the same. Slight upticks in volume, of course, because it's the open compared to pre-market, but not just a waterfall of volume. And so for me, it was a short, but sometimes they don't work. And if it wouldn't have worked, it would have hit my risk and I would have took a loss on it. And that's okay.
Yeah,
Sometimes that just happens.
for sure. And you took that one chunk, right? I always saying,
Yep.
my approach at least, is always scale into the position. You took that right on the spot, right? Where the view up was. So
Yeah.
is that something that in most cases you would look for, like a view up rejection and then shorty?
Sometimes, I mean, it's just a case by case basis, right? Like in this case, yes. But really for this, like I said, I was looking for a push through VWAP and towards that pre-market high up here, but
Yeah.
I just never got, it was just too heavy. It was just too weak. It couldn't do anything. That's also why I got in all at once. Cause yeah, sometimes as it's pushing, I will scale in, you know, one
Yeah.
third, two third, three third. But with this, it looked like it wasn't going to do it. It sounds crazy. It sounds funny, but because I try not to go off the feelings, but I had a
Right.
feeling it wasn't gonna push. It was just gonna wash out and fade all day. And so far, that's what we're getting. We're getting a fade all day. And if this can bounce to VWAP or maybe around these fours, I will re-engage it. I'll re-short it, and then
Okay.
I'll look for it to fade some more and either break that low or test that low.
Nice one. I mean, that's gold. Obviously, a lot of the traders doesn't actually, if you're doing penny stocks or if you're doing large cap, the concept of that aspect, looking for the gapper, looking for the heavy on the tape or
Yeah,
major resistance from pre-market, those kind of elements repeats itself over and over again in any ticker that you will
right.
trade, and that's great that you share that. Alrighty, so I guess before we finish here, anything, last tip you want to give the guys that listen in? I know it's kind of frustrating, you start the evaluation, there are rules, different rules that you
Yeah,
wouldn't have if you traded by yourself on your own account. What do you think about that?
about the rules.
Yeah, about the rules and about the adaptation, I guess, that you need to do in order to fit them.
I mean, it can be a little frustrating, right? But I live my life sort of like just with the cards that I'm dealt, and I have no control over the rules, right? But these are the rules that are placed. If I want to trade here, I'm just going to follow them, and I will try to adjust my trading the best that I can. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just what it is, right? Like I'm not upset at it. I'm not mad at it. I just follow them, right? I try my best to follow them. Sometimes I don't, right? Because things are moving real fast. But I mean, as far as tips go, I think it's study a lot. Find someone that knows what they're doing that you can mimic or replicate. And then once you do get funded, it's so important once again to build that buffer. That buffer is everything. And honestly, you can see that with my summer trading. Like if you go back to that chart, it was so choppy in the summer where my setups weren't working and I was going through down draws and then all of a sudden they were working. If I didn't have that buffer, I would have terminated this account.
Yeah,
But I did have it, and I was able to stay alive and I was able to push. Summer is typically very choppy, but if I didn't have like you could see that, man. If I didn't have that buffer, like if this was last summer, I would have terminated.
yeah,
I would have 100% terminated. So that's the biggest thing. If you can build that buffer and you know what you're doing, or you feel like you know what you're doing, if you give yourself enough time, you will break out of that consolidation range and continue to push. You know what I
nice.
mean? And then just don't give up, man. Just keep pushing, keep doing it.
Nice, nice. And for the guys that listen in right now and just want to follow you, see the stuff that you post on social media, are you posting? Are you active?
I'm not
Oh,
at all. This is
okay,
my life now, man. Like this is all I do. I do
nice.
this. I try to get withdrawals. I hang out with my dog and I work. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
this is it. This is my life. This is what I've decided I'm gonna do.
we should get
This
you.
social
We should
media,
get you on. Just put you in a studio for
couple of
instead of
years. Yeah. Yeah. I might as well, man. I've got this apartment I'm paying on, and it's like it's a waste. I'm pretty much in my room all day.
yeah,
So,
it's
you
cool.
know, that's it, man.
Nice. Okay, thanks so much, Arbnor. For those of you guys who want to check us out, go to tradeapool.com. We got plenty of stuff you can go over and just read the rules, understand what's going on, and just jump in. I mean, you can start from the mini buying power, the $20,000 buying power with $97 that you start with. And basically, it's also avoiding or bypassing the PDT rules, so you don't have to worry about that as well. So thanks so much, Arbnor. And
Thank
for
you.
those of you guys, until next time, take care.
See you.